Hi, and welcome back to Kentucky Health Solutions YouTube channel. My name is Justin, and today we're going to continue our Medicare 101 series. This is going to be our third video. We're going to talk a little bit about drug plans and maybe recap a little bit between the supplement, Medigap, and Advantage plans we talked about in the last video. If you haven't checked that one out, go ahead. It's going to be in this same playlist for the Medicare 101 series. So getting right into everything, Part D, Medicare prescription drug coverage. It's the other part of coverage that will go into kind of providing everything to you. So there's two ways to get your prescription drug coverage. So that's a standalone Part D drug plan that goes with original Medicare and potentially a Medicare supplement or Medigap plan. Or Medicare Advantage plans can include that drug coverage within them. So either way, the plans work very similarly. It just depends on whether or not it's already included option you go with. Again, these are offered by private insurance companies. So what they cover. So they cover most commonly prescribed Medicare drugs that are prescribed to Medicare beneficiaries as determined by federal standards. Specific brand name drugs and generic drugs are included in the list usually. Commercially available vaccines are not covered by Part B, would be included in the Part D drug coverage, such as like your shingles vaccine is usually covered by your Part D drug plan. So every plan can have a different formulary as far as what they cover. So that's why it's important to review your drug plan to make sure that you have the best coverage for you and you don't just sign up with the same company that may offer your other coverage, because every drug plan or every drugs can be covered differently because every person has different drugs. That makes sense. So speaking of those formularies or the list of covered drugs, they're grouped into tiers based on cost. In general, the lower the tier, the lower the cost. There are certain deductibles that can be charged by tier. So your plan may have a few $100 deductible, but that deductible may only apply to tiers 3 through 5 and may leave out tier 1 and 2. So if you have those cheaper generics, you may not even have to touch your deductible. So again, that's why it's important to review your drug plan, because your drug could be a tier 3 on one plan while it's a tier 2 on another. Now, there's different stages to each of these drug plans. Now, again, these work the exact same regardless of if you have the drug plan through a Medicare Advantage plan or if it's a standalone plan. So there's the annual deductible stage, which can be as low as $0 or go up to a max of $480 that you can see for the year 2022. Once you've met this deductible, or if you get to skip it, you move to the initial coverage stage, which is this is just where you pay your regular copays. So you would pay these copays up to where you and the insurance company combined. If you all pay $4,430 combined, then we move to what we call the coverage gap, or what some people refer to as donut hole. So in this donut hole, you're going to be paying 25% of the cost for your medications, generic or brand name. And if the amount that you pay goes up to $7,050, then you would move to the catastrophic stage, where you would pay the greater of 5% or one of those copays for generic or brands respectively. So these dollar limits usually change year over year. The amount that you pay for your prescriptions will change from plan to plan. So Medicare.gov has a great tool where you can plug in your medications to see which plans work best for you based on these stages, and it'll even show you where you'll end up throughout the year on those plans. That's something that we usually help our clients with every year to help review their drug plans if needed. Many people never reach the coverage gap because there's a lot of generic medications out there that work just as good as the brands, and they're much cheaper, so you're less likely to hit those limits. And the cycle starts over on January 1st every single year. So if you hit the coverage gap in October, you're only in it for the last few months of the year, and then you can start back from scratch. So that can be a good or bad thing depending on when you sign up for Medicare. Medicare prescription drug coverage, there are fast facts. You have to be enrolled in Part A or Part B or both. So you don't have to have both parts. You can have just one. You may be required to use a certain pharmacy network because there's usually preferred in-network pharmacies, standard in-network pharmacies, and then out-of-network pharmacies. So just keep that in mind. Different plans will have different preferred pharmacies for costs. Coverage and costs vary by plan and may change year over year. So again, it's important to look at your annual notice of changes. And then Part D premium penalties for late enrollment will apply also. So there's a formula you can find on Medicare.gov. It basically takes the average plan premium for that year, multiplies it by the months that you haven't had drug coverage, and then there's a percentage of that you pay. So again, running back into the Medicare coverage choices, you have your step one, getting original Medicare Part A and B. Once you have A and B, you choose one of the two options, supplement or Medigap with a separate Part D, or a Medicare Advantage plan. So those are your two main options. So a couple considerations for them. Coverage, how do they cover? So Medicare supplements, you pay some costs not paid by original Medicare. Doesn't help with drug coverage, but it is usually nationwide coverage. Advantage plans provide the benefits of original Medicare and more, often include your drug coverage, but does have that provider network. When it comes to costs, there is a monthly plan premium for Medicare supplements, drug plan premium and other costs if coverage is added, and out-of-pocket costs depend on which plan you choose, so it can vary. You may have little to no cost if you select a higher level plan. Medicare Advantage plans may charge a plan premium, often no additional premium for drug coverage if it's already included within the plan. Co-pays or co-insurance for most of your covered services, and there is an annual out-of-pocket maximum. So there's a maximum on those co-pays and co-insurances. And then as far as convenience, the Medicare supplement side of things is multiple plans when added to original Medicare and Part D. So you'll have multiple cards there, and it just may be how you want your coverage to work. On the Medicare Advantage side, it's what we kind of call an all-in-one plan. It includes everything together. So just keep that in mind. As far as between the two, what do you like best? What do you think is best for your health? And that's something that any good agent will ask and help guide you through. So this is where we're going to go ahead and end the video for today. We're going to get into enrollment periods. This was just a little short one, but we want to get into those enrollment periods and really dive into those. Thanks for coming out today, and we'll see you in the next one.